Welcome back. I'm Erica Fernandez, and I'm joined here this morning by Stephanie Gandulla. Stephanie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Erica.
So I know that we are beginning to enter into the fall season, and the seasons are beginning to change. I imagine that we are heading into shipwreck season as well. Do you notice that there's usually more shipwrecks this time of the year?
Absolutely, absolutely. So as we head into, just like you said, fall and winter, the weather's changing. And November actually is what they call the deadliest month for shipwrecks.
Oh,
so
wow.
most shipwrecks happen in November, but we happen to have them in September and October as well. The area is known for sudden fog and terrible storms, huge waves, 90-mile-an-hour winds in some of the worst storms, and 30-foot high waves.
Wow.
So they don't call it Thunder Bay for nothing, I like to say. Lots of bad weather. In fact, today, September 16th in 1868, was one of the more tragic shipwreck sinkings in northwestern Lake Huron. It was the Persian, a two-masted schooner that sank in a collision with the EB Allen. Now, the EB Allen is the footage you're seeing, the underwater footage you're seeing on the screen now, and that was another two-masted schooner. And they collided in 1868, today 1868, and Persian sank immediately, taking all 10 of its crew to the bottom.
Wow.
So very, very tragic story. The EB Allen carried on. In fact, it carried on for another 3 years. But then the Allen itself sank just 2 miles southeast of Thunder Bay Island. So real close here to Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
And it's one of the more popular dive sites today. And you can see why looking at that footage. It sits at 100 feet deep, and the Allen sits on its keel, so it's sitting upright. And the decks are gone, so you can penetrate the wreckage, as you can see there. The collision hole is still evident from the Allen's sinking, and that sank in a collision as well.
Wow, that's incredible. And so that's what we're seeing on the screen right now.
Yep, we're seeing the EB Allen sank 1871. It was built in New York in 1855. Both the Persian, which sank in 1868, they were both built in New York, another area very rich in maritime history. And so, yeah, the footage you're seeing now is just, I think, really telling as to what a spectacular dive site these shipwrecks are here in the Great Lakes.
Wow, that's incredible. And that's here, you can go and see that here at Thunder Bay.
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the most visited shipwreck sites, both because of its depth, pretty accessible, 100 feet. I mean, we've got the Persian sank it sits at 170 feet. So a little bit harder to get to that one.
Okay, yeah.
But the Allen, you can be a recreational diver, open water scuba certification, can get out to the Allen, and it's pretty close to the area. So a lot of Alpina dive charters will go out to the Allen.
Yeah, and so do you think, or do you see in your work at the Visitor Center and as an archaeologist, do you see that a lot of people are really interested in visiting these types of sites?
They really are. I mean, there's something about a shipwreck story. I mean, they are tragic, and a lot of them, there was a loss of life, but they still are an inspirational tool, really. I mean, these shipwrecks inspire people to learn more about the area. They inspire people to both visit the center and learn more about the history, but then also to get out and, like you just said, visit these sites, whether they're visiting them scuba diving or snorkeling or kayaking or maybe on the glass bottom boat. So it really is an effective inspirational tool. You know, the shipwrecks don't get the people here necessarily themselves, but I mean, they inspire people to visit Northeast Michigan and to really experience why it's a world-class historical destination.
Yeah, so why would you say that it's so important for us to remember these stories?
You know, they are an important part of our history. I mean, these are the ships that tell America's story when America was really becoming an industrial power. Both the Allen and the Persian were carrying bulk cargoes of wheat and grain. So these were the bulk cargoes that were fueling a growing nation. A lot of these ships were carrying iron ore. A lot of these ships were carrying coal, the things that, the materials that fueled all the industry happening in the bigger cities, Buffalo, Chicago, Detroit.
Right.
And so it is an important part of our history that I don't think a lot of folks outside the Great Lakes realize. So it is important for folks to understand the amount, I mean, the big amount of history and industry and economy that the Great Lakes produced in the past and are a part of in the past, but also still a part of today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an incredible story, tragic story, but also an incredible part of Thunder Bay history, like you said.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for being here, Stephanie.
Thanks, Erica.